Hey everyone, Soundwave 84 here with my year-end video to end 2020. I'm going to name my top 20 official Transformer toys of 2020. These are mainline Transformers. I'm not going masterpiece, third party, anything like that. This is going to be mainline. So, anything Warfare Cybertron, Siege, Earthrise, Kingdom, or Studio Series Transformers, or even like Cyberverse, stuff like that. Things that are mainline Transformers. I'm going to try to keep this video a little bit, I know that is 16 minutes on my top 5 most disappointing Transformers of 2020. I'll try to keep this video, probably might be a little bit longer, but it's 20 figures. In that video I went more in depth as to why it made that list. This video I'm just going to mention real quick why this made the list, and not try to go too in depth into why it's on my top 20 of 20. You pretty much know why, because I like it. So the rules for this video: I had to purchase or receive this figure in 2020. It didn't have to come out in 2020. So it could came out in 2019 or whatever. I just had to acquire the figure this year. I'm not repeating a figure from the same mold. So if I like Prowl, Blue Streak, and Smokescreen, I can only choose one of them. If I liked Runabout, Run Amok, I can only pick one. If I like the Seekers, the Coneheads, I can only pick one. I'm limiting myself to just one of the mold. If I like Hoist and Trollbreaker, I can only pick one. And I think that way I don't start, just because I like a mold of a figure, I can just fill out the list with just a few molds. Also, this list is just my opinion. If your list differs, good for you. It means we're independent thinkers. We don't have to think alike. We can like different things and still live in this world and coexist. Score. Also, before I get to my list real quick, I'm just going to say, if you're watching this video, you're not a subscriber, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. That'll help my channel out immensely. Also, if you like this video, click a thumbs up. If you dislike it, of course, click a thumbs down. I got a lot of those on my top 5 worst. So I'm pretty sure I'll get a lot of those on this video as well. Well, also, I have links down below to merchandise like this shirt I'm wearing. Also to an Amazon affiliate storefront, which will help support the channel, anything you purchase through that. Alright, so let's get to the list. Number 20. I actually had to debate the spot because there's two figures I wanted to put here. And this one won out, so I'll go ahead and mention the one I missed out as an honorable mention. Why not? The Earthrise Seekers, and I'm meaning the regular mold, Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. Like I said, I love the look. I love the jet mode. I just don't like some of the loss of articulation, which I mentioned in my other video. Because they also made my top 5 most disappointing Transformers of 2020. You watch the video, you can see why they made that list. So actually, coming in number 20, Cyberverse RC. Now, Earthrise RC made my list of top 5 worst. And this figure here, while it is more animated and looks, has a more satisfying transformation, I just think is overall a better quality figure. And yes, she still has a big backpack, but there's really no way around that to get this figure into what you're trying to get it into. So, coming in at number 19, the Quintesson Alicon. I actually had one, and I got 2 more for Christmas. I need my little army of these guys. Also, like I need an army of Sharkticons. So I like this figure. I mean, the transformation is very simple and it's not very complex and stuff. It's not like it's a complex figure, but it's a figure of a character that from the Transformers '86 movie that I'm glad we got. It's one of those side characters you kind of wish they would make a figure of, you just never got. Now we actually have one, and that's why I like it. Number 18, Fast Track. I like this figure. He's fun to play with. He's got lots of playability, being like a weaponizer and stuff, and he just looks cool. And he just goes right with your Earthrise Scorponok. It's a nice figure, and he's just really fun. Number 17. This one could be, I don't know, people may not agree with this one, definitely. Gigawatt, or Gigawatt. You can say it like Doc Brown. He's got my Matrix Workshop Red Alert accessories tabbed on him. It's a nice figure. Yes, in Robot Mobile, like, it looks just like Sideswipe, but when you handle the figure, you have the figure, the transformation's a little more complex. It has a little more small pieces that have to move. But when you get him into his DeLorean alt mode, it looks like a totally different vehicle. It's just, it uses the same base engineering to transform it. It reuses a few parts, but otherwise it is a brand new mold. It is an excellent figure, and I like Back to the Future. I like the movie, especially the first 2. So I'm glad to have something like this. It's just it's a nostalgia kick. Number 16, Earthrise Wheeljack. He's got a lot of different accessories. I think he's mix and match with some non-F and I can't remember the other, Go Better Studios. I think he's got some stuff on here. It's an excellent figure before that, just minus some weapon accessories. He only came with the one shoulder cannon, which you can wield either there or in his hand. So that was the only disappointing thing about the figure, is the lack of accessories, which I have rectified that problem. Of course, you have to drop more money. That's a disappointment there, but the figure itself is excellent. Wheeljack was always one of my favorite characters, and it's nice to have a nice looking one in Generations. Now the original one from years back, Generations, the one they retooled into tracks and everything, runabout, run amok, that's a good mold too. This one here is a little bit simplified. It doesn't have as complex a transformation, so it doesn't have a lot of all the backpack killy. He's more streamlined, and I like that. Number 15, Netflix Bumblebee. While I'm not too big on the real world alt mode, I kind of prefer the toony, the little penny racer, the stubby, the little fat car. I still have him in this mode though. He looks really good in robot mode, and he is like a mini-sized version of the first MP. It's a nice figure. I'm glad that it's a good mainline Bumblebee. And I'm glad that him and Collectibles are actually different. It's not the same figure. Again, just one's red, one's yellowish orange. Number 14, Spinout. Since I'm only choosing one of a mold, they've got 3 of this already, Spinout, Cordon, and Sunstreaker. I just think this one wears the mold better with the colors, the red, the black, the blues, all look really good. Sunstreaker's mismatched yellows kind of throws him down. The mold and engineering of it is excellent. Cordon is also a nice figure, but mine just has a little QC. But I think overall I get more enjoyment just looking at the colors on this guy. Number 13. Now people are probably going to hate on this, definitely. Red Series Megatron. Now Red Series Soundwave made my top 5 most disappointing. Optimus Prime is in the middle. But Megatron is actually pretty excellent. Aside from the plastic quality, it's what I always wanted a G1 a Megatron to look like. He looks like he just stepped straight out the cartoon. He's so G1 because they don't have to make him transform. They can just do everything about his animation model onto the figure. He just looks really good. Is probably the best looking Megatron ever, in my opinion. He doesn't transform. Yes, that is the downside. But hey, I got plenty of Megatrons that transform if I want that. This one presents me a really good robot mode Megatron. It makes an excellent shelf piece. And he's got that ratcheted ab crunch. Yeah. Alright, number 12. Earthrise Dirge. So I'm only choosing one of the Conehead molds. I don't have Thrust yet. My pre-order's been delayed, and he ain't shown up in my targets. Between these two, Dirge was always one of my favorite ones as a kid, as a toy. So I chose this one over because I think I just like the color blue. But it's a nice update. I always love the Conehead Seekers. He's got some upgrades on him here from non-F. I just think they did an excellent job with the Coneheads. Changing them up enough from these guys, right? Extending the knee pads and everything, making the cones to make them really stand out, but still transform pretty much exactly the same. And again, it's just like the classics versions that are brought up. I hate the fact that they don't have a waist swivel and certain things like that. And I kind of wish they had the articulation of those. But this is still a nice looking and transforming transformer. Jet mode is awesome. Robot mode looks really good. I like my Dirge. I like my Ramjet. Just needing thrust. Coming at number 11, the Quintesson Judge. Again, a figure. Doesn't stay tabbed on his chair very well. Let's put a chair over there. Again, a figure I always wanted them to make that they never made. Now we have third parties making them and stuff from before. I can't remember the company that made them previously. Now you got the Masterpiece styled one from X-Transbots. This guy though looks really good. He's got that play feature where you can actually change the heads. It's cool, I guess. I don't really care as much about that, but it's well sculpted. It's got some of the mouths do move, not all of them, but most of them do move. It's got articulation in his little appendages. Also comes with a gun. Every now and then he's got to pop a cap. And like the Alicon, it's a figure I've always wanted. Now I'm glad to actually have it. Number 10, Skylynx. Now we got that Combiner Wars one, which we will never speak of again. You hear me? This one here is an excellent Skylynx, very hefty. I could pretty much grab this and probably just knock someone the F out. Just, but it's cool. He's not the same kind of colors as a G1. G1 has more of a baby blue, a light blue. This is more of a deep dark blue. But I like the colors. The transformation is complex. It does have a few little QC things or things that want to stay tabbed in. And getting the shuttle to actually lock to the base is, you know, a little tricky at times. It's an excellent Skylynx. Even has the NASA logos and stuff on him, which is pretty cool. And he's actually called the Magnificence. Number 9, Kingdom Warpath. I am a sucker for mini bots. I always liked a lot of the mini bots as a kid. Warpath and Power Glide were always two of my favorite toys to play with. I would take them to school for show and tell. They would get dirty, down and dirty outside in the ground and everything. So I'm glad to actually have a good-looking G1 like Warpath. Now, the old generation's one we got before, still an excellent Warpath. Now, for my G1 nostalgia kick, this is the Warpath for me because of the alt mode and the robot mode. Very much G1. That one still looks really good. I'm not knocking that one at all. Excellent Warpath. You can't go wrong with either one. Wham, blam, zam. Again, since I can only choose by my rules one out of a mold, I chose, coming in at number 8, Smokescreen. Blue Streak would have been, it's battle between him and Blue Streak. I always like those two more so than Prowl. I don't know if that's blasphemy or not. But mine's got some non-F upgrades that I will get to reviewing shortly. Excellent figure. I always like Smokescreen. He was actually got some screen time in the G1 cartoon, which was nice. He had a whole episode to himself, the gambler that introduced DevCon and all that. That which was an interesting episode. He was also in some other ones. And it was used a lot for, you know, diversion tactics because he could put out that smoke and make Transformers cough. Don't think about it. Now, him and Blue Streak, I would say, are just mini versions of the Masterpiece version. Prowl is slightly different because he doesn't have, for me, the correct head sculpt. But they're just like the Masterpiece scaled down and with cheaper amount of plastic. Coming in at number 7, Earthrise Optimus Prime. Now, I'm still debating if I like Siege or Earthrise more. Now, he actually made my honorable mention to my top 5 most disappointing. And that's just because of his trailer and the lack of thought really put into it. But I've upgraded it with stuff from non-F, and you can get stuff from Toy Hacks with like new labels and everything. I think even some other companies, third-party companies, make other things for him. And then Hasbro actually came out with the Centurion. And they have Roller and another gun and some battle axe you can put with this guy. So even they came out with the upgrade kit, which you had to buy another figure to get. But still, at least they're trying. It's an excellent Optimus Prime. Looks really good. Has the open and closed hands so he can grip his matrix of leadership. Also, I got an upgrade kit back here from Go Better Studios that give him a better backpack. You don't have to do anything like that. It still looks fine to me, but it just kind of helps solidify the back. And mainly it's for truck mode. Because when you transform, it's got a gap. That right there will fill in the gap of the truck mode. So Earthrise Optimus Prime, he's coming back out in Kingdom. You also can get him in the Netflix. He just doesn't come with the trailer there, though. But he comes with a little bit different color scheme in the Netflix version. I believe the Kingdom version is just this guy all over again. Coming in at number 6, and again, since I can only pick one out of the mold, Runabout. All these guys are awesome. I always liked the Battle Chargers. Didn't get enough airtime in the G1 cartoon. Got a little bit of love in the G1 comics. Got some love in the IDW comics. So they were like beheaded by the Reapers, I believe they were called. I chose Runabout because I like the red on the black. I think the color schemes like that always stand out to me, and it makes the figure I just like the look of it. And so he just stands out more so than Run Amok with the white. I just think the red and black stands out. I like the nostalgia kick they threw in with the extra wheels back here, and also Runabout got 2 weapons, whereas Run Amok just got 1. I know earlier I said something about Smokescreen, Blue Streak pretty much being like little mini Masterpiece figures. Oh, you're talking about mini Masterpiece figures. You gotta talk about number 5 on my list. Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. This thing here, to me, is way better than the official Masterpiece version we got recently, the 29, whatever it is. He does, he has the bells and whistles that guy's got. You got where you can open his head, pull down the visor. He comes with accessories, the saw, and things like that. He just feels better quality. He's got a thinner backpack. I think he does the transformation better. pulls it off better than that. Got some ingenious things with the way to have this. It spins around, hides the hands. I think it's just a little more ingenious in certain aspects. Also, you don't have these screws holding his hands in. Now, of course, you say the plastic quality is probably not as great. He also can open his hands like Optimus Prime and hold the Matrix of Leadership. I think where this guy benefits over the Masterpiece version is they didn't make it a way to store it in his chest. I think that's what hurt the official Masterpiece, was trying to get that to store in his chest. Having him hold it as a hot rod is fine. If you want him to put it in his chest, make a Rodimus Prime. Forgot just how good that figure looks. Just put him up on the shelf. It just looks really good. Now coming at number 4, I mean, saying bigger is always better, but it didn't hit number 1 here. Earthrise Scorponok. He's a big boy. He looks badass. I think he's got the best overall detail and sculpting and posing out of any of the Titan class Transformers. I think he's better than Omega. Way better than Metroplex, Fort Max. I love the look of the figure. He, of course, can be a headmaster. Just like Fort Max. This comes off, and then the little head comes off again. The only downside, I would say, maybe, besides that, is he's got a little bit of hollowness here, and it kind of looks like something could happen and I go wrong with breaking. Otherwise, he is a very sturdy Transformer. I've actually done stop motion videos with him. Is very nice, very posable. It's probably my favorite Titan class Transformer so far.
I must keep touching my crotch.
Coming in at number 3, you knew this guy had to be somewhere in my top 20. Netflix Soundwave. Finally, we get a Soundwave that transforms into his micro cassette recorder. The Siege looks good. This guy mimics the Siege in a lot of ways, but actually has the cartoon correct color I-band of being red. And he's got the Earth mode versions of Laserbeak. Ravage is the same, just some colors have changed on him. They did remold pieces for this Soundwave, so he's got actually a lot of new pieces. Which actually makes him to be like a millimeter or 2 shorter than the Siege version. It's there, it's noticeable, but not that noticeable. So it makes him just a little bit smaller, but it's an excellent Soundwave. I always like the look of the Siege, so this one here being even more G1. Yes, there it is again. G1. Yes, that's my G1 is G1, so I like this figure. Even with the butt buttons. Now, number 1 and 2 on my list, times were interchangeable. Number 1 was number 1 first, so I got a hold number 2. Then number 2 almost became number 1. Then after just fiddling around with him for a little bit, number 1 went back to number 2, and 2 went back to his original position, number 1. Okay, confusing. Number 2 is Kingdom Cyclonus. Cyclonus was always one of my favorite Decepticons. He had a nice character, very loyal. I like Cyclonus. I've always liked the G1 toy. It has memories to me. Someone stole it from me. I went to their house. I found it. I stole it back. It's mine. I had that one. I actually had the Target Master version, which I don't have anymore. I don't know where that went because someone else stole that one from me. But the Generations, the Rebuild the Shield, we got excellent versions of Cyclonus. I've always really liked them, especially the Revealed the Shield version that came out 2-pack with Hot Rod because they had more of the G1 colors to it. Light piping on that one was excellent. The figure itself was excellent. I wasn't a big fan of the jet mode. The back part where the legs folded, it almost felt like an afterthought. Now this one has come along and has rectified that. I never bought the Combiner Words version. I sold it for a while. I never bought that version because it was just Silver Bolt redone. You know, I think I like the head sculpt and stuff, and the colors have the dark, deep purples. This one here is my Cyclonus. The light piping on this guy, again, is excellent. Articulation is wonderful. It is an excellent figure. If you can get a hold of this Cyclonus, buy it. It is a beautiful toy, beautiful action figure, beautiful collectible, however you want to call it. It is probably, I say the only downside, the head sculpt, I like it. At times I look at it and I'm not so sure about it. It's a mix. I think they could have done a little bit better on the head sculpt, but it's still an excellent head sculpt. Well, coming at number 1, Studio Series 86 Scourge. I just love the look of this figure. Ever since I got him open, he's one I was most excited for, actually. In the Studio Series line, showing him and Jazz. and Grimlock were probably the three I wanted the most. Got hold of him first. He is beautiful. The head sculpt, I don't know if you can see on this guy, it is a thing of glory. It's glorious. It's beautiful. They did the pink fingers. The only thing missing, I think he needs like little pink toes. But he is such a beautiful, beautiful transformer. I love it. The transformation is simple. That's probably the biggest problem on the figure. Negative is just the way you got to form the sides. The plastic's kind of thin. Doesn't tab very well. But it's a very simple transformation. Accomplishes both modes very well. It is a good Studio Series figure, and it makes me excited to get the others. And I can't wait for Kingdom Galvatron to come out to finally complete these three, the trio: Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge. Alright, so I know the video was a little long. I'm going to do my best to edit this thing down. It is the top 20 of 2020, and I can't wait for 2021. Hopefully, things will just... Really, you can't go nowhere but up? Maybe. So, 2021, what's that bringing us? It's bringing us the rest of the Studio Series 86. They're already starting to show up at Targets. People are finding Blur, Jazz, Cup, Scourge, Hot Rod. That's not the leader's Grimlock. I haven't found him. Kingdom's hitting Walmart's, Targets right now as well. So you can get your Cyclonus, your Optimus Prime, your Optimus Primal, your Beast Wars Megatron. They're good figures. I got Rat Trap, the core class versions. I got Black Arachnia. She's a good figure. Transformation's a little iffy. So new ones are coming out. Are you excited for Kingdoms? What it's going to bring you? Are you excited for the new Studio Series 86 line? Also, we're getting a re-release of Combiner Wars Devastator. You can order them from Hasbro Pulse or Amazon. I believe I do have them linked down in my Amazon affiliate storefront. So if you want to try to pre-order this guy through that, it would help me out as well. So we got more coming out. And what do you want to see from Transformers in 2021? Until the next one, peace out.